Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for all the organizers of this conference and the first day we had yesterday. So I want to talk to you about youth and the climate emergency that we are facing. So if you know any young people, and especially if you follow them on social media, I think you probably know how important the climate is to most of us. I think there's little doubt about the fact that young people today are more aware of the climate than any generation before us. And I think this fact, the fact that young people are incredibly aware of the climate today, is an immense gift. And today I would like to talk to you about this gift. So I believe that the fact that young people are aware of the climate and how it is changing the planet and how it is changing us is an incredible and a unique gift. However, it's also kind of a very bad gift. Like, climate conscience is one of those gifts that make you feel immediately worse when you get it, because once you have it, there is not a day that goes by when you don't think about it, when you don't judge each one of your own actions by its parameters, and it also gives you this very fun sense of anxiety and guilt everywhere you go. However, I do insist that I think it is a gift, because in the quest of understanding of what is happening on this planet right now and how we got here to this point, this ever-present conscience of the climate can give you the gift of sight. It helps you see that humanity's crises are inextricably linked, and these links are now becoming more visible and more tangible now more than ever. I also think it helps you understand that the climate crisis will exacerbate the already immense injustices and inequalities that exist in the world today. And yes, seeing and understanding that truly feels awful. However, I do believe it is a gift. I think it is a gift that we have as young people to see things differently, because it's so necessary nowadays to see things differently. In so many ways, the world it is today is not what it used to be. And I think young people nowadays know that the problem the world faces are complex and interconnected, and most of all, global. So while our migration policies still insist that nations and borders are of the utmost importance, I think we as young people had to quickly learn that there are many issues, such as the climate, for example, but not just, that do not stop at borders at all. We see that the borders that were arbitrarily drawn in the sand or were designated by nature elements, such as mountains, rivers, and the seas, are nowadays sometimes quite literally melting, being blown away, or drowned out. And so, for better or for worse, the world, its problems, and its solutions are global today. So I think as young people, it is our gift to know that while it used to be very easy to close your eyes and your ears, your heart and your mind to the problems that seemed very far away, these problems are really not far at all. Climate catastrophes aren't just concerning the most vulnerable people in the areas anymore, and they are not just at our metaphorical doorstep anymore. They are quite literally coming inside our homes right here where we are. And while the climate crisis was for decades talked about as something far away, a problem whose consequences will only truly affect us one day in a very long time, we now know that the time is right now. So today, we young people, we simply don't have the luxury anymore to say or to think that climate change is far away in a long time. And you can ask any climate expert about that. The signs are very clear. Those of us who are lucky enough to be alive in the coming decades will live to see the situation get significantly worse. However, while that all might be true, those who are in a position and would have the power to change our course of action and therefore the course of our future are often the people who will not necessarily still be alive in the next several decades. And, well, how do I put this? They sure act like it too. So, I would like to bring your attention to the fact that on the other side, on the other hand, there are so many young people around the world who are aware. And we aren't just aware, we are also active. We can see it by the sheer number of young people nowadays that are active in movements for climate justice on an individual, community, national, international, and transnational level. I, along with so many other young people, are founding and becoming active in movements for the planet and its peoples. We are connecting with each other from person to person, country to country, and continent to continent. We are creating dialogues and networks between people, locations, disciplines, ideas, and passions. And there are so many of such movements young people are a part of and are proud to be a part of, because we share this gift of conscience, and we also share this burden of anxiety. But collectively, we can seek solace in transforming our anxiety and our conscience into action. We see more and more that we are willing and we are able to change things. However, as much as we are willing and as much as we are able, not everyone agrees that our conscience and our action are a gift as I think they are. All too often, the same decision and policymakers that will not bear the brunt of the actions that they are taking, or rather aren't taking, for the future of our planet, that is to say our future, are the ones who have the most power in this matter. Often they are listening to us youth, and often to appease the youth movements, they create a kids' table next to the main events, discussions, and negotiations, which is a convenient instrument to show how youth voices have been institutionalized without any real follow-up, any real action, or any real responsibility taken. All the while, young people who are frustrated with these inefficient systems and structures that exclude them and then they take to the streets are very routinely written off as being radicalist or naive by the very same institutions, but also, all too often, unfortunately, also by their fellow members of civil society. Me, I don't think that our generation is naive or too radical. I think the manifold youth movements that we see today are a natural product of our awareness, our conscience, our action, and our will. And while I often hear that the youth is wasted on the young, I truly believe that's not the case. Our youth, our conscience, our capacity, and our strength are a precious gift to the climate emergency fight. And I think it's just a question of the right people, the right institutions, the right organizations, civil society or not, to finally accept this huge gift. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tessy Li. Thank you.